Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic Crow, and I have this article on Zero Hedge here. San Francisco City panel urges reparations of $5 million per black adult. Now, I will read this really quick, but as most of you know, I was born in San Francisco. I grew up in the Bay Area around the city, and I really like going down to the pier, or I used to, because the city is kind of like fallen apart from what it was when I was a kid. But as you can see here, though, they're planning on paying reparations to Black residents age 18 years and older in the amount of $5 million apiece. I have no clue if that would ever actually go through. But in California, the governor Gavin Newsom has also been planning to pay reparations to Black residents within the state. Now, I look at it and I go, California was never a slave state in the first place. And if anything, if there's any minority group that California probably does need to at least consider paying money to before they pay money to Black Americans, it would be Chinese Americans, given the treatment of Chinese people in like the railroads and everything, and a bunch of other stuff that happened. But let's read through this article. I think that this is just a pie in the sky thing to kind of like hype people up in the city to get them to keep voting for blue, In a spectacular display of what happens when woke politics intersects utter financial illiteracy, a San Francisco government advisory committee on reparations has recommended the city pay eligible Black residents age 18 years and older $5 million apiece. That's just the headline recommendation of the San Francisco African American Reparations Advisory Committee, which was created by the city's Board of Supervisors amid 2020's nationwide racial tumult. I mean, okay, if they go along with any of it, they're stupid. But I think it's just like, goddamn, at this point, really, it shouldn't really surprise anybody. Next on the wish list, a comprehensive debt forgiveness program that clears all educational, personal, credit card, payday loans, etc. The group said this measure will get Blacks out of an inescapable cycle of debt so they can build wealth. Rivaling the $5 million payment as an eyebrow raiser, the committee also wants a welfare program that targets a $97,000 annual income for low-income Blacks for the next 250 years. That's right, a quarter millennium of near six-figure per capita handouts. Centuries of harm and destruction of Black lives, Black bodies, and Black communities should be met with centuries of repair. Okay, yeah, sure. This is cute. This is adorable. I hope they do it. San Francisco doesn't have the money to do this, so I hope they do it. As with every leftist agenda item, this one demonstrates a profound obliviousness to the influence of incentives on individual human action. There's no sure way of guaranteeing an individual will stay low income than promising to round them up $97,000. But wait, there's more. Those who let me clarify on that really quick. Yes, if you just hand out somebody guaranteed income, they're not going to try to succeed anywhere beyond that. I mean, you're paying them close to six figures to sit around and do nothing. Why would you? In fact, if I were in the mid to high income, given that this is only being done for people who are low income, I would just, get myself fired. Right? I would just get myself fired. So then I could show that I'm not producing any income, and then I could just collect a welfare check from the state. Now, here's the thing, though. When you start giving that many people that much money for free, the cost of everything escalates dramatically because there's so much more cash to burn within the economy, right? Like there's so much more cash just being flooded in, right? So it's going to create all of these problems. But, these people don't give a shit. They want to burn everything down around them, and then they can have their cultural revolution. But wait, there's more. Of course there's fucking more. Those who qualify for reparations should also receive payroll tax, business tax, and property tax credits, the panel says. The city should also create structures and pathways to mitigate tax consequences for recipients of reparation funds. Sounds like the Board of Supervisors will get to take a fact-finding trip to the Cayman Islands. Never mind that California wasn't a slave state, says the committee. While neither San Francisco nor California formally adopted the institution of chattel slavery, the values of segregation, white supremacy, and systemic repression and exclusion of black people were legally codified and enforced. The Chronicle approvingly called it a bold plan and said what happens next will show whether San Francisco politicians are serious about confronting the city's checkered past. They're not. They're clearly not. And the thing is, if they go for this, that just confirms to me that they're not. This is a joke. The city does not have the ability to actually pay for any of this. So I hope it happens. I hope they do it, because the quicker you destroy everything, I think the better for everyone. To its credit, the committee seems wary of a new California gold rush comprised of opportunistic reparations prospectors. To guard against a wave of black migrants cashing in, AARAC took a stab at incorporating time and residency prerequisites. Their fiscal border wall, however, has big gaps. Their list of criteria applies a must-meet-at-least-2 approach, making it easier for new San Franciscans to sidestep the length of residency rules. For example, if you're a descendant of a slave and you are personally or a direct descendant of someone incarcerated for breaking drug laws, you're in. What? Look, I agree. That, putting people into prison for like marijuana and everything, I think is just atrocious. And I think Kamala Harris is somebody that did that to people in California. But to say that, like, if that happened, here's a guaranteed like near $100,000 for 250 years is just overwhelmingly stupid. Right? Like, overwhelmingly stupid. Where were we, though? God damn. In a blow to the woke pillar of creative and flexible identity, AARAC shamefully stipulates that all applicants should have identified as Black African American for at least 10 years. Let's just hope there's no need for photo ID. Financial acumen appears to be in short supply among AARAC members. San Francisco's budget is around $14 billion, and there were about 47,000 African Americans in the 2020 census. If just 10,000 residents qualify, the $5 million payment alone would cost $50 billion. Yeah. And again, I definitely think more than 10,000 would sign up for free $5 million. Diversity isn't a strength of the Reparations Committee either. All 14 members are Black. However, there's a vacant seat right now, available only to an individual who has lived or is currently living in public housing. I mean, dude, this is just so dumb. This is idiotic on like another fucking level. But again, it doesn't surprise me that San Francisco's doing this shit. The African American Reparations Advisory Committee was just woke garbage put in to like make the BLM people feel like they were achieving something. This is a joke. I mean, it's an absolute joke. To me, this just says that you don't have any faith that Black Americans are even capable of doing anything on their own. They must be lifted up. They must be assisted because, otherwise they're just going to fail. They can't do it on their own. I mean, I think there's plenty of problems within the Black community that's stopping many people from growing out of poverty, because there's a lot of things that are applauded within the Black community that I don't think are healthy and don't help you actually contribute in society. And they certainly do not help you climb up that social ladder, climb up the class ladder. You're just stuck there. And it's terrible to see that. But here's the thing. A bunch of white liberals saying, hey, okay, we'll agree with you. We'll give you a bunch of money. Man, that's not going to fix anything. And that's not going to fix the internal problems within your community either. At the end of the day, let me finish it by saying something very simple that helps me out in life. Before I start looking at other people to toss blame onto them as to why I am not succeeding, I first try to figure out what I can do better. I think that, the Black community, given the decades of just being like held down, And I'm not saying held down by systemic oppression, although if you believe that, fine. But you cannot look to other people and never look inward and never even consider or even attempt to figure out why you're in the situation that you are in, why your community is in the situation that it's in. Because at the end of the day, if you're seeking somebody else to come in and pull you out of that hole and give you money so that you can do better, well, I mean, let's just be honest. You are effectively nothing. You're just you're now just hooked onto somebody else's leash at that point because you're dependent on them. You're not growing. You're not improving yourselves. You're dependent on government at that point, and you never want to be dependent on your government.